The train was never supposed to move again. But at 11, it hums beneath the earth like something remembering. The air trembles, heavy with iron and rain, and somewhere between the rusted rails, a whisper curls through the fog. No one else hears it. The town forgot the wreck, buried it under concrete and rumor. But I stand by the old platform every night, waiting for what should be gone. The lights never work here. They flicker, stuttering between shadow and silver, and the sound, God, the sound, isn't wind. It's wheels, slow and wet, dragging through time. I can feel the ground lean toward the noise as if pulled by memory itself. There's no schedule, no passengers, only that hour, that number, and the echo of something unfinished. They said all souls left that night. They lied. The storm swallows every sound except the distant clang of metal, steady as a heartbeat. I can't tell if it's memory or machinery coming alive again. The tracks ahead shimmer, slick with rain and old oil, bending the lantern's glow into trembling ribbons. A whisper of coal smoke seeps through the fog. Sweet, wrong, too familiar. Something presses against the night, thick and watching, as if the air itself remembers the names of those who never made it home. My hand tightens around the lantern, its flame fluttering like a trapped soul, and the silence before the next sound feels endless. Then, a faint chime. 3 soft notes. And the platform exhales a breath it shouldn't have. The walls pulse faintly, expanding with each echo from the tracks. Water drips in rhythm, slow and deliberate, as if counting down to something unseen. I step closer to the ticket booth, its glass fractured and thick with grime. Beneath the dust, faint fingerprints press against the inside of the window, too recent to belong to ghosts. My breath fogs the surface, and a phrase emerges written backward in condensation. 4 words that freeze my spine. You missed your stop. A distant creak follows, like a door opening deep underground, and the air turns metallic, tasting of blood and thunder. On the counter, half buried beneath soot and time, lies a small black ledger. Its pages are damp, edges curled like burnt leaves. I shouldn't touch it, but curiosity is louder than fear. Inside, rows of names are written in fading. Hundreds of them, maybe more. All marked with the same date. The night of the derailment. My hand trembles when I turned to the final page. The last name isn't fake. It's freshly written, ink still glistening under lantern light. It's mine. A gust of air pushes through the hall, scattering loose papers like startled birds. Somewhere in the distance, a train whistle mourns. The floor shudders beneath my boots, soft and slow, like a beast stirring in its sleep. From beneath the tiles comes a muffled rattle, metal grinding on metal, echoing upward through the stone. The lantern's flame bends sideways, drawn toward the sound, and I realize it's not the train that's moving. It's the earth itself remembering. The walls tremble, dust raining down in pale streams. Somewhere beyond the fog, the conductor's whistle screams once more, splitting the air like a wound. I run to the door, but the world outside is gone, replaced by a tunnel of light and steam that wasn't there before. The clock strikes 11:13. The light stretches forever, swallowing color and sound until only the rhythm of my heartbeat remains. My steps echo in a corridor made of vapor and rust, where walls breathe like lungs and each droplet of water falls in impossible slow motion. Somewhere ahead, the faint hiss of steam teases the silence, followed by a mechanical sigh. Alive, ancient, patient. My shadow stretches unnaturally long, bending along the tunnel's curve as if leading me towards something I shouldn't find. The smell of smoke thickens, and for a moment I think I see figures walking beside me, translucent and sad, moving in time with my breath. The air inside the car is colder than death, Seats line both sides, torn and moth-eaten, but the faint outline of people still fills them. Smoke figures frozen mid-breath. The sound of soft murmurs floats around me, a language made of sighs and broken memories. I reach for one of the empty seats, and the fabric collapses into dust. For an instant I hear laughter. Light, human, too real, and it cuts off like a blade meeting bone. The lantern flickers, struggling to survive. Something unseen walks between the rows, its steps quiet but deliberate, as if inspecting the living among the dead. A child's voice hums softly from the far corner, an old tune, simple and haunting. I move closer, and the melody stops. In seat 7, a little girl sits perfectly still, her head tilted toward the window as if listening to something far away. Her face is pale, almost translucent, eyes wide with knowing calm. I whisper a question I can't explain, but she doesn't answer. Instead, she lifts her hand and points at the window where my reflection smiles back, a second too late. The lantern dies, leaving only the gleam of her eyes in the dark. The train lurches forward, though the world outside is nothing but endless white fog. The vibration crawls through the floor and into my body, each pulse syncing with my heartbeat. My hands tremble. The rhythm grows louder, becoming a whistle inside my chest. Panic blooms, wild and burning, as the lantern flickers violently. I can feel the train pulling me apart, thread by thread, as if trying to weave me into its story. Every sound, every heartbeat, every breath becomes part of the engine's terrible hum. The noise stops. Silence blooms heavy as ash. When I open my hand, a paper ticket lies there, yellowed, damp, but unmistakably new. My name is printed across it, along with a single word where the destination should be: return. The ink bleeds as I stare, smearing beneath invisible rain. A slow knock echoes from the next carriage, 3 times, calm and measured. The lantern reignites by itself, burning brighter than ever, as if warning me that the journey isn't over. Somewhere ahead, a door slides open. The sliding door breathes like something alive, exhaling a gust of cold air that smells of coal and rain-soaked metal. My fingers hover above the handle, and the metal pulses beneath my skin, warm and trembling. I don't want to open it, but the sound on the other side. The rhythmic tap. Tap, tap, calls to me like my own pulse answering back. I whisper nothing, yet the door whispers my name. The lantern's light ripples, showing my reflection in the steel. Only it's not me. It's someone older, eyes hollow, lips moving without sound. The tapping stops. Silence presses close, and then, with a soft click, the door slides open on its own. The next carriage smells faintly of burnt sugar and old perfume. Tables are still set, silverware polished, glasses unbroken, but every plate holds only ashes. Shadows stretch across the velvet seats like stains, moving slightly as though breathing. I step between them, my boots creaking on the wet floor. A music box somewhere begins to play, its melody warped but familiar. I see teacups trembling without touch, spoons stirring on their own. Then faintly from the far end of the car, a man's voice hums along to the broken tune. Low, deliberate, patient. The conductor, he turns slowly, his gaze empty but endless. The world bends around him, sound shrinking into a hollow hum. His lips part, and though no breath moves, his words arrive inside my head. He tells me the train is a bridge, that it carries not bodies, but choices. Every soul aboard boarded willingly, chasing what they lost. He raises his hand, gloved and shaking, offering me another ticket, clean, new, white as bone. I don't move. The floor beneath me groans, and something beneath the surface begins to stir, restless, waiting for my answer. The glass beside me trembles, humming like a struck bell. I turn and the fog outside begins to clear, not revealing landscape or sky, but a reflection of another time. Through the window I see the derailment as it happened. The screeching metal, sparks tearing the night open, faces frozen in terror. I see myself standing among them, unhurt, untouched, watching as if it were a play. The conductor's reflection appears beside mine. His eyes are not accusing, they're pleading. The image shatters with a sound like thunder, scattering time into rain. At the end of the carriage hangs a grand brass clock, its glass cracked, its hands missing. Still, it ticks. The sound crawls through the air, uneven and wrong, like something forcing time to continue against its will. I step closer, drawn to it, feeling each tick inside my ribs. Beneath the clock, a plaque reads, "Time arrives for all passengers." The lantern's light fades again, and in the dark, I hear dozens of heartbeats that aren't mine. Fast, afraid, unending. I realize then that time never stopped after the crash. It just got stuck, repeating the same 11:11 forever. The ticking fades, leaving a silence too heavy to be empty. I can hear the walls breathe again, a low pulse that echoes from deep inside the train's bones. The air tastes of dust and iron. My footsteps sound softer now, swallowed by the floor. I know I'm moving backward, through memory, through the train's own mind. Every vibration feels like it's leading me somewhere familiar. Then, faintly beneath it all, I hear a scream. Not loud, but distant, like it's still trapped in the night of the derailment. I stop walking. The scream stops too. I push open a narrow door, expecting another car. Instead, I find a small compartment lined entirely with mirrors. The lantern's glow multiplies endlessly, trapping me in 1,000 reflections. Every version of me looks slightly different. Older, younger, frightened, resigned. One of them blinks when I don't. I freeze. The air hums like a living thing. Slowly, the reflection steps forward, pressing a palm against the glass. I lift mine without meaning to, but when our hands meet, his fingers feel warm, alive, and mine turn cold. The compartment shatters into fog and sound. I'm standing outside again, or maybe beneath. The floor is gone, replaced by twisted metal and earth. The wreck is here, silent and enormous, its bones half buried beneath wet soil. I hear whispers seeping from the rails, voices layering atop one another, telling the same sentence over and over. We never left. My pulse quickens as the rails vibrate. Through the mist, faces appear, rising from the ground, soft, broken, and waiting. He appears again, silent as a memory that never fades. The conductor walks along the broken rails, untouched by rain, eyes reflecting the light of the wreck like molten silver. He tells me the train was never meant to stop, that it only waits for the living to remember. The passengers are fragments, echoes that cannot fade until the story finishes. He steps closer, voice barely more than wind. "You boarded once before," he says. "You never got off." The lantern flickers, revealing his face isn't his anymore. It's mine. Rain turns to cinders, falling slow and weightless. The ground beneath the wreck glows with the orange of old fire. I remember now. The night it happened, the warning light, the scream of brakes, too late. I was there, standing on the platform, watching, doing nothing. I thought I was only a witness, but memory corrects me. I see myself on the tracks, reaching for someone in the smoke, a hand too small to save. The world blurs, and all that's left is the sound of the whistle, crying for the dead. The clock somewhere strikes 11:11 again. When the smoke thins, I'm standing in the carriage again. But this time, one of the seats isn't empty. A woman sits there, eyes closed, breathing slow and steady, like she never left. Her presence bends the air, warm where everything else is cold. I speak, but my voice sounds far away, swallowed by the walls. She opens her eyes, and the lantern light catches their color. Earthy, human, alive. She whispers that not everyone aboard is dead, that the train carries the living who can't let go. "You kept coming back," she says softly, "because you never forgave yourself." Her words turn the silence into confession. Her voice shakes the rails beneath us. Every word she speaks pulls fragments of the wreck into being. Twisted rails, shattered glass, the night I refused to move. I remember the child, the scream, the silence after. I tell her I tried to help. She says I didn't try hard enough. The train lurches and my knees buckle as the walls ripple, replaying the disaster again and again, looping the moment where I turned away. I can't breathe. The air thickens with heat and guilt, and the lantern's light fades until only her face remains. The floor gives way, and I fall. Not into darkness, but into memory. Dozens of faces surround me, soft and glowing, their eyes wide with the kind of peace the living never find. Among them stands the little girl, Clara, clutching a scorched doll to her chest. She smiles, not forgiveness, but understanding. Around her, the passengers nod slowly, fading in and out with the pulse of the lantern's flicker. Their mouths move together, whispering the same words that have followed me since the first night. Witnesses become passengers. The conductor steps from the mist, his uniform unblemished, his eyes no longer hollow. He thanks me, not for coming, but for staying long enough to remember. The train hums like a heartbeat returning to rest. The living must carry what we can't, he says, handing me the final ticket. It's blank now, its surface reflecting only light. He lowers his hat, and for a moment, I see his face flicker between his and mine, between every passenger and every ghost. The whistle sounds one last time, soft as forgiveness. I wake to the sound of rain and iron. The platform is empty, the wreck gone, only the lantern beside me burning steady. The clock above reads 11:12. For the first time, the tracks are still. I take a step toward the exit, but pause when I notice the reflection in the puddle. Me, standing exactly where I am, but smiling. Somewhere in the distance, faint and fading, the whistle blows once more. I don't look back. The night exhales, and the rain finally sounds like rain. For days, I try to forget. I walk past the station without looking. Pretend the rain is just weather, and not memory washing through the streets. But one night, the urge returns, a pull beneath my ribs that hums like a hidden wire. When I glance at my watch, the hands twist, skipping every number until they land on 11:11. The second they stop, the ground trembles, soft but certain. The old clock above the station door flickers to life, its hands spinning wildly, and in the faintest breath of wind, I hear the echo of the conductor's voice. All aboard. The town should be alive, shops glowing, windows breathing light. But everything stands frozen. Doors hang open. No one moves. Cars sit mid-turn, headlights frozen in fog. The silence hums like a held breath. I call out, but only the echo answers, dragging my name through the mist. I step closer to the center square and see the rails, new ones, glimmering through the cracked pavement. They weren't there before. They hum faintly beneath my feet, as if the town itself has been laid across the tracks. It begins with vibration, soft, rhythmic, growing louder, until every window shakes. The sound rolls through the streets like thunder caught in a loop. I turn, and there it is again. The train, sliding silently through fog where no tracks should exist, its headlight cutting through the air like a ghost's heartbeat. The whistle moans low, distant yet near, bending the night. Its doors open as it slows, revealing golden light inside, impossibly warm. No smoke, no faces, just invitation. The wind dies as I step forward. The air tastes of old rain and time. I can feel eyes watching from the mist, faces unseen but waiting. My fingers brush the train's doorway, and warmth spills over me. Familiar, and painful. I think of the conductor's words. The living must carry what we can't. I could step inside, end the noise, the nights, the memories, but the lantern in my hand burns brighter. Its light trembling like a heartbeat that still wants to last. I take a breath and step back. The doors close softly. The train moves without sound, gliding past and fading into nothing, leaving only still air behind. The rails beneath my feet stop humming. The clock tower in the square freezes again, both hands locked at 11:11. I wait, expecting peace, but the silence feels wrong, too deep, too final. Then, carried by the wind, barely a breath, comes a whisper that chills the air around me. Until next time. The lantern flickers once, twice, and goes out. Sleep won't come anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I hear the whistle again. Soft, distant, calling from somewhere behind my ribs. The nights grow longer. The mirrors fog without reason, and sometimes the walls tremble like the pulse of hidden rails beneath them. When I pass a window, my reflection lags behind, smiling too late. I know the train isn't gone. It just moved closer. The living world feels thinner now, stretched over the wreck like paper over flame. And when the clock hits 11 again, the pulse inside me answers. 3 knocks, not loud, but precise. Metal on wood. My heart freezes before I move. When I open the door, there's no one there, only fog seeping across the threshold, curling like fingers. On the ground lies a ticket, folded once, edges damp from rain. No name, no destination, just the same single word I've seen before. Return. The fog drifts past my feet, whispering through the hall as if the train has found a new platform. And it's me. The street outside bends into fog, the air colder with every step. The rails gleam faintly beneath the pavement, leading into darkness that feels familiar. The whistle sounds again, nearer now, lower, almost human. As I walk, the world fades behind me. Windows darken, lamps die. Even the sound of my own breath becomes distant. Ahead, the train waits, silent and still. Its open door, breathing, light like a living thing. The conductor stands within, head bowed, hat in hand. I realize I was never supposed to leave the platform at all. He doesn't speak this time. He just watches as I step forward, my shoes echoing softly against the platform that shouldn't exist. Inside the train, every seat is filled with light. No faces, no voices, only warmth. The moment I cross the threshold, the whistle sounds one final note, long and low, fading into forever. The door closes behind me, sealing the silence. The lantern in my hand burns steady now, no longer trembling. I take the seat nearest the window and see nothing outside, only peace shaped like motion. The train glides forward, smooth and soundless through a horizon of endless light. No rails, no earth, just motion. The ticking of the clock returns, faint but peaceful, steady as a heart finally finding its rhythm. I close my eyes, and for the first time, there's no fear. Only the soft hum of forgiveness. Somewhere, far behind, a lantern flickers out on an empty platform. The clock strikes 11:12 and keeps going.